As a kid of the 90s, it would come as no surprise that I was Pokemon obsessed. I collected the cards, I had the base set Charizard, I loved the anime, and of course, me and my brothers dragged my mum to go and see the first ever Pokemon movie. Despite of all this, I had never played the Pokemon mainline games. Well, this all changed when I was an adult. In 2018, I purchased my first ever Pokemon game, which was Sword and Shield, which I played hundreds of hours of. Now obsessed with Pokemon games, I constantly look forward to the brand new release of any Pokemon game. But in 2024, for the first time that I am aware of, there was no new releases of Pokemon games. I need my fix. So I thought, why not explore the past? So this is my journey from spamming Thundershock on ground types to becoming the Pokemon champion with a significantly underleveled team, to falling completely in love with old school Pokemon. So I decided on Smith Play's Pokémon Yellow Legacy mod. It sounded perfect. It preserved the old school feel while adding quality of life for the user to ease them into Generation 1. And of course, I could play as a girl. So I named myself Navy, called my rival Gary, obviously, and decided to take an extra challenge of hard mode. I won't bog you down with the details of hard mode just yet. Let's just say it added some spice to my whole experience. Like most Pokemon games, my adventure began in my mum's house. She sent me off to meet Professor Oak. Well, here was my first stumbling block. You see, modern games tend to hold your hand just a little bit. So my brain was essentially hardwired to expect a big yellow arrow or something to guide me. Without that, I was clueless. I really was clueless.
Guys, can someone help me? Is there anyone in chat that has played this game before and knows where Professor Oak is? Because I cannot find him.
After a painful 5 minutes of wandering and my chat laughing their heads off at my expense, in which you can join them over on my TikTok, that's Navy, I embarrassingly stumbled into Oak.
Oh, he's there.
He caught a Pikachu.
Pikachu! It's Pikachu! Oh, what's going on? Is he catching me, this Pikachu?
After briefly questioning if Oak, Gary and I were somehow related.
Oak is Gary's grandpa, isn't it? And then I think Professor Oak is secretly seeing my mum, isn't he? Because I ain't got a dad.
Seriously, what the hell is the deal with that family dynamic? I finally got myself a Pikachu. I named him Aegon after House of Dragons, which was my theme throughout this whole game. Then instantly, Gary wanted a scrap. Fine by me, but then came my first twist. Gary pulled out an Eevee.
Yeah. Aww. Aww.
I was immediately jealous. Why did he get my favourite Pokemon of all time, and why was I stuck with this Pikachu? I mean, nothing against Pikachu, I love Pikachu, but Eevee is my absolute favourite Pokemon. This game was already feeling so unfair. Of course I beat him, moved on to Viridian City, hoping to stock up on Pokeballs. Instead I got roped into a tedious quest to deliver a package for Oak. Basically I became the Amazon delivery driver of Kanto. My reward? A Pokédex. Cool, I guess. So I set off to get those Pokeballs, ignoring chat to pick up the town map. My bad, guys. I am still very sorry about that. I finally got some Pokeballs and chat hinted that I should head left for a surprise. Curious, I followed their lead and found a Mankey which I caught and named Damon. Thinking the surprise was just a Pokemon in the area, I accidentally ran into Gary. Again. I only just seen this bloke a minute ago. I wasn't expecting a rival battle so soon. Between reading chat and not paying full attention, I got caught off guard. Gary's Eevee spammed Sand Attack, I missed all my hits, and ultimately Gary wiped me out. This was my first hard lesson in old school Pokemon. In my previous experience, I could rely on my starter just to kind of carry me through the early game. But not this time. I quickly realised I had to focus to earn my wins in this game. A challenge I hadn't expected so early on in my playthrough. So on I went, I caught a Nidoran male, healed up and prepared for a rematch with Gary, his pesky Eevee Stand Attack. This time I paid more attention and my boy Aegon came through, securing the win and saving me from further embarrassment to chat. Although I won, I knew I needed to bulk up my team. Before heading to the first gym, I caught a Rattata named Cheese, a Vulpix named Helena, and a Nidoran female named Rainy's, the queen that never was. That's when it hit me. Both Nidoran, male and female, had the same name.
Nidoran spelled the same. Is Nidoran turned into a Nidorina and a Nido... I'm confused. Are they both called Nidorans? Am I just learning something new for the first time? Is Nidoran not Nidorina? Is it not Nidoran and Nidorina? Are they both called Nidoran? One is Nidoran, female. One is Nidoran, male. I'm so dumb. How have I never known that before?
Like, why had I never noticed this before? I always thought it was Nidoran and Nidorina. I never knew at the start they were both called Nidoran. Right. With my team starting to take shape, something strange happened.
What is the game doing? Why is the game doing that? Matt, do you see that? Why is it doing that? Aegon fainted. Why did Aegon faint? Why are all my Pokemon fainting? Hello? But they're poisoned, but they were back in the Pokeball. Sorry, mate. Sorry, Pikachu. I didn't even know that was possible. Are we still friends? Alright.
Even now, I'm not 100% sure how I feel about it, but I kind of liked it in the end. Moving through Viridian Forest was a breeze. I caught a Cappy named Blood and soon arrived in Pewter City. While exploring, I ran into this random guy who reminded me there was no time like the present to face Rock. I sneaked past his mate, squared off against Brock. He had two Pokemon, a Geodude and an Onix. This should be easy, right? Wrong. Very wrong. Virtually all my moves were normal type, which was resisted by Rock. Yes, very unfortunate, or more likely, very clever game design. To make matters worse, Geodude and Onix had absurdly high defense, making them a nightmare to take down. I managed to grind down Geodude with Damon's Scratch, leveling up my Mankey to level 9, which unlocked a fighting type move, Low Kick. When Brock brought out Onix, he used Bide, a move I'd never encountered before. It's an unusual mechanic. Onix absorbs damage for 2 to 3 turns, then dishes it back at double the strength. The ideal strategy would have been to spam Leer while Onix charged Bide, since Leer does no damage, and then hit with a super effective low kick. But of course, I had absolutely no idea what Bide even did. Onix wiped out my entire team. This was my second major defeat already, and chat had already taught me a valuable lesson, the first of many to come. My mentor, chat, pointed out that currently 90% of my moves were normal types, and only when Damon learned low kick did I unlock the ability to beat Brock. Kind of obvious in retrospect. In previous experiences, I never really thought about it. In truth, I probably never had to, as these latest games are so much more forgiving. I now led with my Mankey and crushed a Geodude in no time. Onix was still a tough opponent, but Mankey dealt enough damage for the rest of my team to chip away at it. My boy Aegon landed the finishing blow, earning me my first gym badge. With Pewter City's badge in hand, I set my sights on Ceridian City and my next challenge, Misty. Little did I know the horrors awaiting me on the journey there. My journey out of Pewter City led me east, where I battled half a dozen trainers and caught the cutest Jigglypuff, who I named Baylor. From there, I reached the entrance of Mount Moon, a place that frankly should be named the Seventh Circle of Hell. What followed was almost 3 hours of torment. The endless Zubat and Geodude encounters were relentless. By the time I'd faced the Team Rocket grunt, I was so over it that I mindlessly used Thunder Shock on their Sandshrew 3 times in a row. Baylor had to step in with Sing to save the day. Then I ran into the Super Nerd. What a character.
Can we just... I've missed this new person that I've never seen, the Super Nerd. What's she doing? Guys... What is going on with Super Nerd?
After defeating them, I got thoroughly confused by chat trying to guide me through which fossil I should choose.
How do I know the difference? What the frick is a dome? Do I just... Helix? Guys, I don't fucking know what's going on here. I prefer dome. Guys, what's the difference between a dome and a helix? The fossils are in front of you. Yeah, but do I get to... Okay. Sorry, I thought... Okay, sorry.
Still dazed and wondering if I'd made the right decision, I was caught completely off guard when Jessie and James ambushed me. My team, already depleted by the horrors of Mount Moon, stood no chance. Bang. Defeated. I was sent all the way back to the start of the cave. At this point, I was so done with streaming for the day and was at my lowest point so far. I started finding the game tedious and damn right unenjoyable. Honestly, I wasn't even sure if I wanted to stream it anymore. But my community was loving it, and they kept me with the promise that this would honestly get better. On the next stream, I passed on, stormed through Mount Moon once again, and put old Jessie and James to the sword. Onwards to Misty. But first, I decided it was an opportunity to power up my team. I focused on grinding my Nidoran female until she evolved into a Nidorina. Then using my Moonstone I picked up earlier, I evolved her into the glorious Nidoqueen. She was an absolute queen. She was a Pokemon I just fell in love with on this whole journey. Hands down, one of my favourites of all time. All because of this game. On paper, Misty shouldn't have been a threat for me and my Aegon. But as became the theme of the run, nothing goes to plan here. I quickly dispatched her Psyduck and Goldeen, but my Aegon, the Pikachu, underleveled as usual, had been taking a beating. That's when Misty sent out her ace, Starmie. In a standard playthrough, this would have been manageable. I'd heal Aegon with a potion, tank Starmie's hit and claim my second badge. But I'd chosen hard mode, which came with 3 brutal rules. No overleveling the gym leader's Pokemon, not a problem for me, I was consistently underleveled anyway. Set battle mode active, meaning no free switches after a KO, a rule that I was definitely feeling now. And no battle items in-game, so no healing, no revives, nada. This left me in a dilemma. Starmie was faster, hit like a truck, and could shrug off my underleveled Thundershock. Another humiliating defeat loomed unless I came up with a plan fast. But there was a sliver of hope. Baylor, the Jigglypuff. She was my only bulky Pokemon, and I was counting on her not-so-secret weapon to trap Starmie, but she needed to survive at least one hit. Baylor tanked it, but just barely. Her survival allowed her to put Starmie to sleep with Sing. With Starmie snoozing, I switched back to Aegon, ready to finish the job. Or so I thought. Again, Thundershocks weren't hitting nearly as hard as I'd hoped. It looked like I'd need 4 hits to bring Starmie down, but Starmie was already 2 sleep turns in, and could wake up at any moment. If it did, Aegon was a goner, and I'd face yet another humiliating gym defeat. A gym no one even struggles with. Turn 4, still asleep, Aegon landed another Thundershock. Just one more hit was needed. The tension was unbelievable. And then it happened. Starmie woke up. As I read the dreaded words, enemy Starmie woke up, my heart sank. It was over. I had lost again. Or had I?
Oh my god. Oh, it woke up. But I kill it. Just call me a Pokemon Master.
Confused, dazed and overjoyed, I'd somehow beaten Misty. Later I learned why this has happened. In Generation 1, when a Pokemon wakes up, it loses its turn and can't attack until the next round. A completely broken mechanic, but in the moment I wasn't complaining. My sights were eagerly set on earning my 3rd gym badge, but there was a long journey ahead. First I faced off against Gary. Good old Rainies double kicked him and his Eevee into the dirt. Then some random guy tried to recruit me into Team Rocket. Finally, I just happened to bump into someone completely out of the blue.
Who's this kid? I should release my Charmander because it's weak. Give me! If you want it. Chat, why did no one tell me that I can get a Charmander right here? Charmander is my favourite star in Gen 1. Oh my god.
With Sunfire the Charmander in my team, chat informed me there was a way to get a Bulbasaur as well. To do so, however, I needed to prove that Aegon loved me by spraying him with hundreds of potions. With Moondancer the Bulbasaur secured, I continued exploring and eventually ended up inside a strange house. Bill had somehow merged himself with a Pokemon, but after helping him return to normal, I secured the SS Anne ticket and could now head to Viridian City. I made my way to the docks to board the SS Anne and obtain the move Cup. I'm not gonna lie, SS Anne felt like another tedious slog, just like Mount Moon. Every room was packed with trainers and I quickly found myself lost and confused. The only saving grace that there was no endless spawn of Zubats and Geodudes every 3 steps. Still, as I sensed the finish line approaching and remained blissfully unaware of what was coming, disaster struck.
Tell me where it is. Oh, no, Gary! No, Gary! I'm not ready, Gary!
With Rainy's fainted and the rest of my Pokemon on low HP, I was in serious trouble. I managed to get Gary down to his Eevee, but it still wasn't enough to defeat him. Determined, I raced back for a rematch, vowing not to lose a single Pokemon this time. Well, that didn't actually go to plan.
Holy moly. Oh, why didn't I kill it? Why didn't I kill it? Oh my god.
But chat had an idea. Use Double Team on Aegon. I'd only ever seen this move in the anime and had never used it myself. It essentially creates the illusion of your Pokemon, increasing the chance of dodging attacks. To my surprise, the strategy allowed my underleveled Pikachu to stand a chance against Gary's Eevee.
Well done, guys. That was teamwork. Thank you so much. Now I know that what Double Team does. So I learned in that battle. And we won it.
With Gary finally defeated, I spoke to the captain, secured HM cut, and set my sights on Lieutenant Surge. After spending 5 minutes randomly flicking switches to get through his gym's puzzle, it was finally time to face him. Not only does Surge look like a tool, he talks like one too.
Big and brassy nerve to take me on. What's with his attitude? Why are you going to be all attitudey? I'm just here, you're a gym leader, I feel like this is what we do. We don't need to be like squaring up to each other. We're all here for the same reason.
Surge only had one Pokemon, a level 29 Raichu. On paper this shouldn't have been too difficult. Rainy's is a ground type after all, so there shouldn't have been any issues. Or so I thought.
Any comments I'll get to in a minute, guys. Surf? What the Surf? Surf? Guys, everyone was telling me to have this goddamn ground type crap, and the Raichu knows Surf.
Raichu proceeded to wipe out my entire team. Another gym leader, another defeat. Thanks, Yellow Legacy. It completely threw me. And chat, a curveball we never expected. A surfing Raichu. After regrouping with my squad and chat, we held an emergency meeting on how to proceed. It was decided to catch a Dugtrio that knew the move Dig, since Rainy's had no ground type moves. Dugtrio's base speed stat was 120 and there was a slim chance it could outspeed Raichu, even if it was underleveled. But first, no matter what, I had to lead with Moondancer, the Ivysaur, who could resist both Surf and Thunderbolt. The plan was to use Leech Seed to chip away at the Raichu's HP in case Dugtrio couldn't finish a job in one hit. With me and chat holding our breaths, we went into the rematch with more hope than confidence. And then,
give me that Leech Seed. Body Slam. Don't one-shot me, don't one-shot me, don't one-shot me, don't one-shot me.
A critical hit from Body Slam knocked out Moondancer right away. A painful beginning. Was Dugtrio faster?
Right, so we dig. We're digging. Oh no.
Nope. Raichu swept my team once again. The biggest threat was Raichu's speed. If I could somehow slow it down, this match would be much more manageable. Paralysis seemed like the best option, but Thunder Wave wouldn't work since electric types can't be paralysed with electric moves. Or could they? A hero in chat informed me that this mechanic wasn't introduced until Generation 6. It was a legit tactic in Yellow. This changed everything. I led with Pikachu knowing the risks. Pikachu was still underleveled and would likely only survive one hit, if that. Raichu high crit made the outcome even more uncertain, but it was my only shot. Aegon survived the critical hit from Surf and I landed the Thunder Wave. With Raichu paralysed, I managed to turn the tide.
Oh, nice, nice. It wasn't faster than me there. Oh my. my god. Chat! What the hell? Guys, that is a GG's. Oh my god. Well done, you guys. Well done, us. Well done. Victory. Well done.
And there it was, my third gym badge. What a struggle that was. So after Lieutenant Surge, I actually decided that I quite liked being underleveled. For some reason, it gave me this extra challenge and this extra thrill. And it made me like really think about the strategy. Every time I was going into a battle, it made me think, what could I be doing to beat this gym? So I know a lot of you in the comments probably be like, why are you doing it underleveled? Like, just level up your Pokemon, grind your Pokemon. But I actually quite liked it. And to be honest, it starts to become on purpose. I start to really strive to beat the game underleveled. So before venturing off to the next city, I secured my Squirtle and named him Sea Snake. Now I had to make my way back through Ceridian City, head east and through the painfully long rock tunnel. I hate caves.
It's like every 5 steps there's an encounter. Oh my god. Of what? Zubats? Down? We've just gone down though. We're coming up, right? Because we just, as in we were going up, not down. Or am I going down? I'm confused. You know I get, oh hang on. No, I put a repel on there. Put a repel on. My giddy gosh. You know what? This cave is so big. I actually hate this cave. We're going down. Oh my god! Ah! Oh! Hallelujah! Hallelujah! Oh my god! We did it!
Finally, exiting the rock tunnel, I arrived in the infamous Lavender Town.
Oh. Do. Please don't tell me that's another cave. Please don't tell me I have to go in the other cave. Do I have to go in there? I ain't doing it. You can't make me. Oh, it's a tower? Okay. Do we go in there? Do I get an Eevee here? Guys, when do I get the Eevee?
But my visit was fleeting as I headed east. After what felt like 1,000 hours, I finally reached Ceridian City. Of course, the first thing I had to do, the thing I've been waiting for since the very start of this journey, the very reason I named myself Navy, was to go get my Eevee.
I got Eevee! Oh my god, yes. Give her a nickname? Yes. What will you evolve Eevee into? I don't know. I'm so nervous about the decision.
I named her after my favourite House of Dragon character, Rhaenyra. It was fitting, considering the rival in the show was Aegon. Little did I know that the rivalry between Aegon and Pikachu and Rhaenyra and the Eevee would split the chat into a civil war. Aegon would soon earn the title of Aegon the Unworthy.
Bore me. You all bore me.
But before the drama, we had an important decision to make. What should I evolve Rhaenyra into? To be honest, the original evolutions are actually my least favourite out of all the Eevee. If I had to rank them, Flareon would be my favourite. She's just the cutest. Jolteon would be my least favourite because I'm not a fan of her design. I really like my Pokemon to look cute. I'm a little bit shallow when it comes to my Pokemon. And Vaporeon is just, it doesn't offend me as much as Jolteon, but it's not exciting either. Chat, however, hated the idea of me swapping out my Charmander or Squirtle for Flareon or Vaporeon. So they manipulated / tricked me into evolving my Eevee into a Jolteon. Oh, don't worry, they said electric types are OP. You can totally run 2 electric types with Pikachu and Jolteon. I should have seen through their vindictive lies. So I agreed and I evolved my favourite Pokemon to my least favourite Eevee evolution.
Oh gosh, it's happening. It's, oh, my beautiful Eevee. It goes. The artwork was a bit mid, wasn't it? The artwork didn't make him look cute at all. Ah! It's done. It's done. I can't go back.
Erica Gym was, let's say, interesting. Every gym so far had a very unique lesson. Brock taught me that having a wide range of types is important. Misty taught me nothing comes easy. You need to adjust to the situation. Lieutenant Surge showed me the power of the community and how it can help me overcome challenges. And Erica taught me that sometimes pressing the A button over and over again is all you need. Whether it was Charmeleon using Fire Punch or Nidoqueen with Ice Beam, her gym was so easy.
Yeah, thank you. Great, guys. Cheese. No way. Let's go. Our 4th gym badge, that? 4th? I'll take it. Well done, us.
To move on to the further gyms, I had to stop that pesky Team Rocket in Games Corner. Here, me and Chat, side by side, slogged through the stupid sliding panel maze. This was all to find a key for a lift. After securing the lift key, I headed up to face none other than Jessie and James. Of course, I couldn't resist doing an awful rendition of Team Rocket's motto, but Chat loved it.
Prepare for trouble and make it double. To protect the world from devastation. To unite all people within our nation. To unite all people within our nation. I think I kind of got it right.
And then it was time to face the big man himself, Giovanni.
Oh, here he is. Alright, big man. So, I must say, I'm impressed you got here. So am I.
The battle began with Sea Snake, who after taking a harder hit than I had liked, managed to knock out his Onyx. Next came his tricky Kangaskhan, and I had nothing obvious to counter her. Thankfully, Rainy's pulled through with an extremely lucky freeze, which saved me.
How do you get so much luck? I actually don't know. Okay, Marowak. Okay, so Sea Snake? Sea Snake is running low.
Moondancer took on a challenge as both Rainy's and Sea Snake were low on HP. Moondancer managed to get the KO, but I couldn't afford to switch out against Persian, which inevitably led to Moondancer fainting. Persian was fast and hit hard, with a high crit rate that had me nervous. Once again, my team was underleveled, and the thought of trekking back through the stupid building for a rematch was unbearable. I decided to send in Rhaenyra, my quickest Pokemon, to see if she could match Persian's speed. Unfortunately, she couldn't. Strangely, Persian used Bubble Beam instead of its hardest hitting moves. I responded with Thunderbolt. Persian used Bubble Beam again, thankfully, and I followed up with a double kick. It wasn't enough to knock it out, but it did do enough damage to finish the job with a quick attack. A very strange battle. It should have been much harder than it turned out to be. I feel like Giovanni must have been intimidated and made some terrible moves because he was so nervous. Maybe he heard about the heat that I brought to Erica's gym and tried to put it out with a Bubble Beam. As I headed back to Lavender Town with a Sliff Scope in my bag, I couldn't stop thinking about one thing. Why does Giovanni have no neck? Like literally no neck. Is he insecure about it? Is that why he started a crime organisation, because he was so bitter about his neck that he needed to put his energy somewhere else? Anyway, back to the tower. After defeating Gary, I set to uncover the ghost haunting the tower. Turns out it was Marowak who got killed by Team Rocket. I actually never realised how dark these games are. Like seriously. Poor Cubone. With Mr. Fuji rescued, I received a Pokeflute and set out to catch a Snorlax. After successfully catching Hodor the Snorlax, it was time to say goodbye to Aegon.
Right, we're going to deposit Pikachu. Everyone say bye-bye to Pikachu. Everyone say bye-bye, Pikachu. He's not happy. It's time, Pikachu. I couldn't take you to the ends.
Despite Chat begging for his return,
he's gone. Sorry, I can't keep him. He's not good enough for my team.
I wasn't having it. Chat chose Jolteon.
Eevee's my favourite Pokemon. We chose to evolve it into Jolteon. And if I was to have to choose Eevee over Pikachu, it'd always be Eevee.
So they can deal with the consequences. Once that ordeal was over and Chat had calmed down, it was time for my favourite part of the game. The Safari Zone! With 30 Pokeballs, no Pokemon battles and only 500 steps, I couldn't get enough of it. Sure, the objective was to get Surf and some Golden Teeth for strength. Both vital for progressing, but I was in no rush. I spent some time figuring things out and eventually tried to catch some rare Pokemon. After encountering 100 Magikarps, I found a Dratini.
Well, hello there.
Now Dreamfire the Dratini was in my squad, replacing Hodor. It was time to move on to Koga's gym. First up was his Golbat, a tricky customer with Confused Ray, but Rainy's Ice Beam coupled with another lucky freeze finished it off. Next came Muck, a tank with Mega Drain. That was a tough component. Randomly using Ice Beam again, I got yet another freeze. My freeze luck was off the charts. but being underleveled with no psychic or ground moves, I needed all the luck I could get. Then came Tentacruel with its massive surf. Rainy's couldn't stay in, so I sent in Rhaenyra. She tanked a surf and countered with Thunderbolt. Unfortunately, Tentacruel was too tanky and survived the hit and finished off Rhaenyra. I saw those in chat tediously chanting, "Justice for Aegon!"
Next best thing would be Moon Dancer. 10 levels below. Come on, tank it, Moon Dancer. Don't die, don't die, don't die.
The unexpected ice beam caught me off guard. I assumed it's another one of Smith Play's Yellow Legacy gym designs to add tension to the fight. If so, it works. I was starting to get very scared. Just when it seemed hopeless, Sea Snake came through with Dig. It wasn't a logical choice to teach Sea Snake Dig, but I pretended it was part of my grand strategy. Finally, Koga's last Pokemon, Venomoth, entered the battle. I sent out Sunfire, who hit hard with Fire Punch, but Venomoth's Psychic and Solar Beam piled on the pressure, knocking out Sunfire, Rainy's, and Sea Snake. I was running out of options. Everything left could be one-shotted by Psychic. In desperation, I sent out Dreamfire to bide time and hope for a miracle.
I don't think we're going to be fast. No.
Miracle happens! Venomoth didn't use Psychic, it used Toxic, leaving an opening for Dratini's Dragon Rage to finish the battle. I am a Pokemon master. You see that, chat? Let's go. So underleveled as well, so underleveled. GG's, guys. This challenge is what I love about the game. Just when I start to think the difficulty is leveling out, a gym leader like Koga throws me off balance. Unfortunately, in hindsight, Koga's fight was a piece of cake compared to what I was just about to go through at the next gym, Sabrina. But before that, let's talk about Team Rocket. For me personally, Team Rocket has been one of the low points of this game for me. The Slipscope section with its teleport pad puzzle felt excessive and tedious. There's no real skill or logic to solving it, it's just trial and error until you reach the end. It doesn't reward effort or strategy, and honestly, didn't we just deal with Team Rocket at the game corner one gym battle ago? Facing them again so soon felt completely unnecessary. Sure, the Giovanni fights were fun, but the rest of Team Rocket's encounters are forgettable and blend together in my mind. They lack the excitement or challenge to make them stand out. Okay, rant over. On the bright side, I snagged Earthquake for Nidoqueen and added a new member to my team, Seasmoke the Lapras. Unfortunately, it was time to say goodbye to another fan favourite, which was Sea Snake. Despite his great performance at Koga's gym, he wasn't quite vibing with me. Now onwards to Sabrina. Entering the gym, I was already feeling that PTSD from teleport paddles. After some guidance from chat, I finally navigated my way through to face Sabrina. Even before starting Pokemon Yellow Legacy, I knew how painful the Psychic type was in the first generation, so I fully anticipated a tough challenge. I led with Rhaenyra while Sabrina opened with her Abra. My team's average level was 36, while Sabrina's lowest leveled Pokemon was a whopping 12 levels higher. Despite the odds, things started off well.
Okay, we're going to Abra. We're going to go Pin Missile up this guy in his face. Watch this, chat. Pin Missile, one shot. Go on, Rhaenyra. Okay. It was kind of a one shot. Oh, it's a one shot because it hits a couple of times.
One down, 4 to go. Next came Hypno and I stuck with the plan. Pin Missile was a 2-hit KO and I was confident Rhaenyra could survive a hit, which she did. Then disaster struck. Rhaenyra missed her attack. Hypno put Rhaenyra to sleep, rendering her useless for the rest of the fight. I sent out Sunfire, who dodged a hypnosis but did minimal damage with Fly before being one-shotted. I was in serious trouble. Next up was Seasmoke, who managed to take down Hypno with Body Slam. Then came out Mr. Mime. With my underleveled team and Rhaenyra still asleep, Mr. Mime wiped us out completely. It was time for a team talk. How could I beat Sabrina with such an underleveled team? Chat really wanted me to grind my levels, saying, "You're too underleveled." They were probably right, but grinding in this game was tedious and I had already set my heart on beating this game underleveled. And in retrospect, I had already beaten every gym so far severely underleveled, so what makes this one any different? Chat suggested sidelining Moondancer due to her dual poison typing, which made her weak to Psychic. Dreamfire was also too underleveled to contribute meaningfully. I agreed and brought in Marowak and Tauros, the highest level physical attackers I could catch in the Safari Zone. The new plan was to lead with Marowak to take out the Abra and land a solid hit on Hypno before being knocked out. The strategy relied on leaving Jolteon, our fastest team member, with Pin Missile for the end to potentially clutch the win. So I sent out Marowak and, well... Alright, it's using Abra, so that's hype. I knew this would happen! This is why I'm bringing Rhaenyra out first. Knowing my luck, the outcome was predictable. Back to the original plan. Rhaenyra one-shotted Abra again. She took a side wave from Hypno, but landed Pin Missile this time, leaving Hypno with just a sliver of health. However, Hypno retaliated, putting Rhaenyra in the red before she finally took it down. Then came out Mr. Mime. Despite hitting only 2 out of my 5 Pin Missiles, Rhaenyra managed to damage before being KO'd. Now it was John the Tauros' turn. He delivered a critical body slam, leaving Mr. Mime in the red, but Mr. Mime struck back with a Psychic, taking him down. Rhaenys came out next and didn't let me down, finishing Mr. Mime with Sludge. 2 Pokemon remained. Sabrina called out Kadabra and it looked grim. Kadabra was faster and had Psychic, a guaranteed one-shot to Rhaenys. Weirdly, Kadabra used Scythe Wave, instead giving Rhaenys a chance to knock it out. Give me some decent damage, Rhaenys. Give me some decent... Chat, what the hell? Now it was down to Sabrina's ace, the infamous Alakazam, probably the most powerful non-legendary Pokemon in the whole game. This was gonna be tough. Alakazam immediately used Psychic to obliterate Rhaenys. I sent out Sunfire expecting an immediate knockout, but Alakazam used Thunder Wave instead. Sunfire got in a wing attack, leaving Alakazam with just over half its health. I went for a fly, hoping for a miracle. But Alakazam did what Alakazam does. Psychic. Sunfire miraculously survived. However, he was paralysed and my hopes of winning dimmed. Gutted, I sent out Sea Smoke, my last Pokemon. Sea Smoke's only physical move, Body Slam, was my only hope as Alakazam's physical defense was weak. Alakazam hit with Psychic, but one final miracle happened. We got a paralyzed. We're paralyzed. Pray, pray, pray. We go Body Slam. Get in the bin! Yes, chat! Yes! Let's go! Oh my god! How underleveled were we? Oh my god. Riding high on relief and happiness, I could taste the Elite Four just around the corner. Now I was reaching the end game, I wanted to lock in my team for the final gyms and the Elite Four. So I decided to use a Pokemon that I have never used before. Hiya, I'm Important Doctor. I study here rare Pokemon fossils. You have a fossil for me? Oh yeah. Aerodactyl. Yes, give me an Aerodactyl. I think this fossil Pokemon is so epic and I have never seen it really played in any playthrough that I've seen before. So it felt like a really unique choice. But this meant saying goodbye to Sunfire, my Charizard. Throughout the game, Charizard never really added much to my battles. It's funny how he's probably the most popular Pokemon ever, yet he's kind of useless in the early game. So goodbye Sunfire and hello Vermithor. After a quick visit to the Pokemon Mansion, I was able to unlock Blaine's gym after answering some simple but overthought Pokemon questions. Alright, here we go. Caterpie evolves into Butterfree. No, she evolves into Metapod. Oh. Technically she evolves into Metapod though. Since I had just criticised Charizard, and let's be honest, most fire types, you can imagine why I went into this battle feeling very confident. Of course, confidence always seems to be my undoing in this game. I led with Dreamfire to get some experience, hoping that one day she'll soar through the skies as a Dragonite. But I blew my early advantage. Alright, take down. We're alright. Okay, it's fast. It's a lot faster than me.
duck. A critical hit. Oh my goodness me.
Well, that was plans A, B and C out the window. It was time for my newest member of the team, Vermithor. He quickly dispatched Rapidash and Blaine's Charizard in succession. Next up was Ninetales, and my bad luck hit again, or rather, Rockside didn't hit. Baffled by this miss, I didn't notice that Ninetales had set up Solar Beam for the next turn. Aerodactyl landed the rock slide, but Ninetales survived with a decent amount of health.
Why did you get an Aerodactyl? So I got Old Amber from Pallet Town? No, from Brock's area, and brought it over to Blaine's, asked a guy, and he made it. Solar Beam. Solar Beam. Oh my goodness me. How does the Ninetales know Solar Beam? How does the Ninetales know Solar Beam?
Now I was in real trouble, and Blaine still had 2 Pokemon left after Ninetales. Rhaenyra managed to knock out Ninetales, but then came in the goodest boy, Arcanine. Rhaenyra didn't have the firepower to bring down Arcanine, and I started regretting my decision to lead with Dreamfire. It was up to Seasmoke, the hero of the last gym. Unfortunately, being a water-ice type meant she wasn't as effective as a pure water type in this gym. Still, with her tankiness and a powerful serve, we were down to Blaine's final Pokemon, Magmar. Blaine's ace came out swinging with tricks up its sleeve. To my shock, Magmar pulled out a Thunder Punch.
Not ideal, not ideal. Why do all these Pokemon know things that are super effective against my Pokemon? Okay, it's okay.
With few options left, my not very effective Moondancer stepped in. But luck finally smiled in my favour. Magmar's Fire Blast missed and Moondancer landed a Sleep Powder. Sadly, Moondancer couldn't deal much damage, so I set up Leech Seed and hoped Magmar would faint peacefully in its sleep. No such luck. Magmar woke up and blasted Moondancer off the battlefield. Now it was time to Dreamfire, the very Pokemon that got me in this mess. But here we are. Could Dreamfire win it for me?
Oh, it knows Psychic! It knows Psychic! How? Oh, we're dead. No, we're not. We Leech Seed? Oh my god. Give it a one shot. Give it a... Every time we clutch it. Let's go. Oh, it's so banter. We do that every time. We are just so silly. We are so silly. Let's go. Get the GGs in the chat, guys.
Promise you all, I will never ever try to farm XP off a gym leader again. With my badge secured and a lesson well learned, it was time to face Giovanni for one last time. The final gym honestly turned out to be one of my easiest gyms of the whole entire run, which was actually slightly disappointing. I walked in, beat all the trainers, then came in Giovanni. I demolished him, like obliterated him. He gave me some redemption speech. But at this point, can someone just arrest this guy already? Like, clearly he is a criminal. With my 8th gym badge in hand, I was finally ready for the Elite Four. Victory Road was another cave.
Oh no. A cave? God, I f***ing hate caves.
I'm so over caves at this point. Someone in chat mentioned missing the old cave systems in earlier games. I cannot relate. Like, I will never want to see another cave after this, I swear. Eventually I made it to Indigo Plateau, the home of the Pokemon League. Only 5 victories stood between me and completing my first ever Pokemon game. Looking back, I'd learnt a lot along the way. Spamming moves didn't cut it after a while. Each challenge forced me to improve my skills and refine my tactics, allowing me to defeat every major boss so far. First up was Lorelei, the master of water and ice types. She led with her bulky Slowbro, who somehow survived a Thunderbolt from Rhaenyra. It retaliated with Blizzard, but went down the next turn. Cloyster came up next, only to be one-shotted by Rhaenyra. Then came in Dugong, following a similar story to Slowbro, 2 Thunderbolts and it was out. Jinx was Lori's 4th Pokemon. If Rhaenyra could land 5 Pin Missiles, it would have gone down, but she only managed 2 hits. Jinx took her out with Blizzard. Vermithor came in to clean up, taking Jinx down immediately. That left Lori's final Pokemon, Lapras. Knowing how tough Seasmoke had been for me, I didn't underestimate it. I made a risky switch, swapping Vermithor for Moondancer, and it paid off. Lapras missed its blizzards and Moondancer put it to sleep. After a few turns, Lapras stayed down and Lorry was defeated. 1 down, and I healed up and prepared for my next challenge. Bruno. Bruno led with a Hitmonchan, which threw me off completely. For some reason, I thought Bruno specialised in rock and ground types. Surf here with this guy? Is he rock fight? I thought this guy was fighting. Is he rock? Just fighting? Turns out he's a fighting type trainer, and I had Sea Smoke leading the charge, who's weak to fighting. Not exactly the ideal start. I tried to stall with Lapras, throwing out an Ice Beam to gauge the damage and maybe fish for a freeze. But that wasn't going to cut it. I decided to switch to Vermithor, my flying type, who had the advantage against Hitmonchan. Also, I thought, somehow Bruno read the switch like he was playing a VGC tournament and hit Vermithor with a super effective Ice Punch on entry. It was a brutal hit, leaving my strongest counter to his team barely hanging on. I tried a wing attack from Vermithor, but it wasn't enough. Hitmonchan brings down Vermithor with another Ice Punch. This was not the start I was hoping for. Now it was time to call in my MVP, Rainy's. She knocked out Hitmonchan with a single sludge attack, giving me some hope after that rocky start. Bruno sent out Poliwrath next, and expecting a massive water attack, I switched to Rhaenyra, but then Poliwrath used Amnesia, boosting its special stats. This was bad. This was really bad. Poliwrath, who could have been one-shotted by Thunderbolt, now tanked it like a champ. It retaliated with Hydro Pump, which Rhaenyra barely survived. On the next turn, I managed to take Poliwrath down, but my team was already starting to crumble. Bruno's third Pokemon was Hitmonlee. I swapped Rhaenyra out and sent in the queen herself, Rainy's. But Hitmonlee wasn't about to go down quietly. It landed a critical Mega Kick, leaving Rainy's barely standing. I didn't have the luxury of switching and sacrificing another Pokemon to weaken it. This was do or die. I went Sludge, it hit, doing just over half the damage. Then came the moment of truth. Hitmonlee went for the finishing blow with another Mega Kick, but it missed. Pokemon has a funny way of giving and taking luck when you need it the most. Rainy's finished Hitmonlee with a final Sludge. Next up was Onyx. Rainy's, knowing this was likely her last stand, traded Earthquakes with him. She didn't survive, but her sacrifice allowed Sea Smoke to come in and take the Onyx down with a single Surf. Or so I thought. No! No! Oh! Oh, I hate that move! Out of nowhere, Onyx exploded. Panic really started to set in. What's he going to send out? I don't know. I was down to just a few Pokemon and Bruno still had his ace, Machamp. I sent out Moondancer. Bruno sent out Machamp. Okay, we gotta hope. We gotta pray for sleep. This was it. Moondancer was faster and immediately put Machamp to sleep, giving me some breathing room. But I didn't know how to proceed. Should I attack? Should I switch? My nerves were getting the better of me. At this point, the cracks in my confidence were showing. That will Mega Drain it or go to Razor Leaf. Chat had to guide me throughout the journey, offering strategies, advice and encouragement. But as I got this far into the Elite Four, TikTok's algorithm had captured my stream into chaos. What started at 30 viewers exploded into 250. While I was thrilled, the downside became clear. There were now too many voices. Switch out to Dragonair and use Rap. Agility and Rap. Oh my god, my voice. And I couldn't follow chat's advice anymore. I had to rely on myself and the lessons I'd learned from this journey. Chat's teachings had brought me here, but I had to believe in my own instincts to finish the job. Taking a deep breath, I stopped overthinking and I used Mega Drain to chip away at Machamp's health while keeping him asleep. Slowly but surely I brought him down. I survived Bruno's team, but I could feel the stress mounting. The question now was, could I hold it together to get across the finish line? It was now Agatha's turn. She led with Gengar, who attacked first with Nightshade, but Rainy's retaliated with Earthquake, absolutely demolishing her Gengar. Next came out Golbat, a trickster of a Pokemon. It started spamming Double Team and Fly, making it nearly impossible for Rainy's to land a hit with Ice Beam. A critical hit from Fly left Rainy's deep in the red. Luck seemed to have abandoned me, or so I thought. Ice Beam finally landed, bringing Golbat to under half health, and then it happened. Oh, we froze! Let's go! Yes! The freeze look! The freeze look!
Freeze! Suddenly, luck was back on my side with Golbat frozen. Rainy's finished off the job with another Ice Beam. Marowak was up next. I kept spamming Ice Beam, fully expecting Marowak to knock Rainy's out. But instead of attacking, Marowak used Sword Dance, a dangerous move, sure, but not in this situation. Before he could capitalise, Marowak went down to another Ice Beam. Agatha's Arbok followed and met the same fate. One Earthquake and it was over. That left her final Pokemon, another Gengar. Switching felt pointless. Rainy's was already hanging by a thread, and sure enough she went down. Now I had to figure out how to deal with this Gengar. I sent out Seasmoke, who could tank a hit, but Psychic barely scratched Gengar. Seasmoke took a Thunder in return and went down. My team was crumbling and my nerves were fraying. My best hope was Rhaenyra. I prayed she was faster. Thankfully she was. A Thunderbolt landed cleanly, bringing Gengar close to defeat. Gengar continued with Nightshade, but I had underestimated Rhaenyra's bulk. She survived, tanked the hit, and delivered the finishing blow to Gengar. Agatha was down, but I wasn't celebrating yet. My nerves were already frayed, and the constant chatter didn't help. Some new viewers kept pointing out that I was underleveled, which was starting to get on my nerves. Guys, you gotta calm down with the levels. You gotta calm down. It's okay. It's okay, I promise. We have done this whole game underleveled. I promise, it's okay. We got it. We clutch it in the end every time, I promise you. Thankfully, 90% of my chat had my back, cheering me on and pushing me to the final member of the Elite Four. Their encouragement kept me going. Even as my confidence wavered, my team was battered, I was feeling ill, and the weight of every decision was on my mind. My plan was to lead with Seasmoke that should be able to take one hit from Dragonite and then go on to one-shot it. There was a backup plan to set up Dreamfire with agility and wrap them to death. Very broken strategy that only works in Generation 1. With all this in mind, we finally began. Dragonite led the charge as expected, but I wasn't fully paying attention. Chat was making me laugh, and before I knew it, Dragonite delivered a critical slam that one-shotted Seasmoke, a rough start. I sent out Dreamfire next, relying on the high-risk, high-reward strategy. Unfortunately, Dragonite had other plans, vaporizing her with a critical hit with Hyper Beam. We're so dead. My team was falling apart quickly. Then came in my star, Rainy's. She managed to land an Ice Beam, but it didn't quite get the knockout. Miraculously, Rainy's tanked Dragonite's Hyper Beam and finished off with a second Ice Beam. With the first Dragonite down, I regrouped. After a quick pep talk with chat, I sent out Rhaenyra to face Gyarados. She absorbed a powerful Surf and retaliated with a clean Thunderbolt, bringing Gyarados down. Next up was Charizard, perfect prey for Vermithor's Rock Throw. Charizard hit hard with Flamethrower, but Vermithor held strong, taking Charizard out and giving me a glimmer of hope. But then came out Lance's Aerodactyl, 17 levels higher than my team. I underestimated its speed and Vermithor went down with a flash. Panic set in. Could Rhaenyra redeem my blunder? She stepped up with Thunderbolt that landed hard. Was a crit necessary? I didn't know and I didn't care. Aerodactyl was down. Now it was time for the final Dragonite. I opened with Thunder Wave, crippling its speed and paralysis. It worked. Dragonite was paralysed and I managed to land a Thunderbolt, but then it struck back with a broken Hyper Beam, taking Rhaenyra out. This was it. I sent out Rainy's. With nerves of steel and an Ice Beam in hand, she delivered the final blow. The last of Lance's dragons fell, and the Elite Four was conquered. Yes! Oh, there's Dallas! The queen that never was! MVP as always! GG's chat! GG's. But it wasn't over yet. The champion waited. Could I finish what I started? Now it's Gary, and I haven't lost to Gary in a long time, so I actually walked in semi-confident, to be honest. The champion battle began and the pressure was at its peak. He led with Alakazam, a terrifying Pokemon throughout the game, but Rhaenyra was ready. With Pin Missile at her disposal, we managed to bring Alakazam down to half health. After tanking a Psychic, she finished the job. One Pokemon down, Next up was Rhydon. Rhaenyra was a sitting duck. I swapped to Seasmoke. Unfortunately, Rhydon landed a critical hit submission, taking her out before she could do much. I was already on the back foot. Moondancer stepped in as she was my next best option. She managed to put Rhydon to sleep and slowly whittle it down until it fainted. But before I could celebrate, Gyarados entered the fray. I thought I had things under control until it revealed Blizzard. Moondancer stood no chance. Rhaenyra came back in, my obvious choice, and she took down Gyarados with a Thunderbolt. Next was Arcanine, and Rhaenys took to the stage. She tanked a Hyper Beam without too much trouble and countered with Earthquake, bringing Arcanine to low health, but then disaster struck. Arcanine's Fire Blast landed, burning Rhaenys. Despite the burn, she managed to hang on and finish the Arcanine off. Then came Executor. I was confident Sludge should handle this quickly, but I missed. Your attack missed! Rhaenys! Rhaenys! Things were starting to fall apart slowly. Rhaenyra returned to Thunderwave Executor, slowing it down, but Executor got Reflect up, and suddenly, Pin Missile wasn't going to cut it. Rhaenyra fought valiantly, but it was taken out. Hope was slipping away. Vermithor came out, finishing off the Executor with Fly. Finally, it was down to Gary's last Pokemon, Jolteon, and I was in serious trouble. Jolteon, we're fine. Oh, we're not fine. He's going to one-shot us, chat. He's going to one-shot us! Now it all came down to Dreamfire, my last and weakest Pokemon. Oh, not like this. It's fine. It's fine. We go again. We go straight in. Don't worry about it. We were so close. There was a mistake made. There was a mistake made, I think. From me. I had lost. But weirdly, losing was okay. Chat was gutted, of course. I was just a Jolteon away from victory. But it didn't feel like a defeat. Playing through Pokémon Yellow Legacy turned out to be one of the most funniest and enjoyable games of all time. I started this playthrough just to wait for the new Pokemon game, Pokemon Legends ZA. But somehow along the way it became much more than that. You see, I didn't just play a game, I built a community. A group of people who love Pokemon just as much as me. A place where fans could share their favourite theories, pitch creative ideas and give nicknames. And yes, even yell at me that I was underleveled, which I secretly appreciated because it meant that they cared. It wasn't just about the battles and the badges, it was about how passionate people are about this franchise and how they chose to share their passion with me. Losing to Gary and taking on the Elite Four again wasn't a setback, it was an opportunity. It meant that I could spend more time playing this incredible game in front of my incredible community. So, when I finally defeated Gary on my second attempt, it felt more than just a victory. It was a testament to the people who cheered me on, shared the love of the game, and fueled my determination to push forward. I wouldn't have been able to do it without their passion driving me to be better. Oh my god. Oh my god. Ah! Let's go! Chat! Let's go! Let's go! The doubt is going to doubt. I saw you all doubting. I see every one of you doubting. All triggered by my levels. I see you people rooting for me as well. I see all of you. Let's friggin' go. Noob to champion. Let's go. Guys, get hype in the chat for the team. Aerodactyl, Vermithor, level 45, Hall of Fame. Who we got next, chat? MVP, Rhaenys, the queen that never was. Everyone didn't want me to have Rhaenys in my team. Level 55, clutched it. Oh, beautiful Dragonair, Dreamfire, level 38. She never made it to a Dragonite, but that's okay. Moondancer, level 40, MVP with a sleep powder for sure. We got Lapras, great switch out from the Blastoise, Seasmoke, level 40. And Jolteon, the real MVP. My beautiful Eevee, we decided to evolve it into a Jolteon and it was the best decision we ever made. That took us 33 hours, chat. 33 hours. Aegon the Forgotten. 33 hours to complete this game. I would say that was a grind, but we did it. Pokémon Yellow Legacy itself was a passion project from Smith's Plays and their team, and it brought out something incredible in all of us. It reminded me how strong the love for this franchise is and how it unites people in such a unique way. It made me want to be a better player, to challenge myself, and to share my love with Pokemon with the world. When I first started playing old school Pokemon, I noticed how clunky it felt compared to modern games, but just how much I would fall in love with it. This wasn't just a playthrough for me. It was a journey, one filled with laughter, growth, and a whole lot of passion. And honestly, I wouldn't trade it for the world. Aegon, where are you? Okay. He sounds angry. Here he is. Oh, he still loves me. He actually still loves me. You guys were like, he's gonna hate you. He loves me.